I'm going to add one more calculation that you'll need to know for acids and bases, and that's titrations. These are actually really simple. A lot of people get mixed up because the steps are not clear in their thinking. But if you know the 3 steps you need to follow to process the data from a titration, they are actually really simple calculations. Okay, often they have a lot of significant figures, a lot of decimal places. You've got to change units, there's things like that. But the actual calculations are very simple. What are the 3 steps? In a titration, you are always given a concentration of a known solution. That's going to be your standard, primary or secondary standard. You know the concentration. So you're always going to know one concentration. And you're going to, in the titration, use a very carefully measured volume of that. It could be in the flask at the bottom. It could be in your burette. Titration can go either way. But you're going to have a very carefully measured volume, and that's of your known. You are also going to have a very carefully measured volume of your unknown. I'll call it V2, and that's my unknown. And that's what you will always have. You will have the concentration of a known, the volume of a known. You'll have the volume of the unknown. They're the 3 key pieces of data you need to find in the question. You also will be given enough information to write a balanced equation, but that may rely on you being able to write an equation just given the names of the acid and base. So what are we going to do? How do we process it? First step, we find the moles of the known. Whatever the solution is with a known concentration, find how many moles. And that's very easy. Number of moles is concentration times volume. You're given concentration, you're given volume, N equals CV. Now, be careful of units. It's best always to work in litres. So change your volume to litres. Concentration should be moles per litre. You get a number of moles. Second step, we need to find the moles of the unknown. So we know in the titration, we titrated until we reached the equivalence point, when there was exactly the right amount of the unknown to neutralize the known. Now, this could be acid and this could be base, or this could be base and this could be acid. It could be a different sort of titration, but let's assume acid-base at this stage. The amount of acid and the amount of base at that equivalence point, the end point in the titration, was exactly right according to the ratio in the equation, exactly the right amount of each. So if you use a balanced equation, you can work out the moles of your unknown. If you have 2 moles of the unknown in the equation for each 1 mole of the known, then you're going to have to double the number of moles. If you have 2 moles of this for each 1 mole of this, you're going to halve it. You can practice that calculation. You can look at worked examples, but I just want to show you the basic principle of what we're doing. Use the balanced equation to find the moles of the unknown. Third, now that you know the moles of the unknown, that's N2. We now know the volume and the number of moles. So you can find the concentration of the unknown. That's exactly what we want to find in the titration, the concentration of the unknown. And how do we do it? Concentration is moles per volume. And we now know the volume of the unknown and the number of moles of the unknown. So titrations, the calculations always come down to these 3 steps. Moles of known, moles of unknown, concentration of unknown. If you're having trouble with titrations and you're given a question, maybe the first step to do would be just to write on the top of the page or something, 1, moles of known, 2, moles of unknown, 3, concentration of unknown. And you could even write N equals CV and C equals N on V. You've got everything there ready to go. And if you wrote that at the top of your answer and you did nothing else, you'd probably get a mark because you've shown understanding of how you process the titration data. You put the relevant formulas. That's actually a lot of important information there. But that will guide you, and you should be able to easily process titration data. You should understand what's going on. You need to know all the principles about how to do an accurate titration. But in processing the data, it's just those 3 simple steps.